Hi everyone, this is Priyanka Sachdeva from Core and Pure Essential Oils, and as we decided to start with the series on stress management, so today I am here with Major General Neeraj Bali, who has served the army for approximately 40 years, and he has got the Sena Medal. He has been awarded by that. He has served as the CEO of Rural Education Society, which is huge. This school and the schools and colleges have approximately 42,000 students, and he is also a certified life coach. One book what I have come across is The Winning Culture, which he wrote, and that's an amazing book. So now I welcome Major General Neeraj Bali.
Thank you, Priyanka.
Sir, I would like to understand from you, first of all, your life's personal experience from Army and as an Army personnel.
Right. So let me begin by telling your viewers and you that the people who join the army, people like me, come from the exact same backgrounds, the exact same parenting, the education standard, the financial anxieties as the rest of the world. Why I'm saying this is because this is a question I'm often asked. How are you guys so different? How are you able to manage stress, fear, anxiety so well? So first, I want everyone to know that we are the same guys. Maybe we have a different framework, a different mindset, which is helping us do all this. When I joined the army, for example, I was 16 years of age. I had never spoken one complete sentence of English to a stranger. I only spoke Punjabi. I wrote Punjabi. And after that, the journey has been a remarkable 40 years where the army transforms you and changes you. Now, within the army, I was an infantry officer, which basically means that you're mostly on the borders or fighting terrorism. I commanded an anti-terrorist battalion. I've also been posted abroad in Africa as advisor to government. And the army also gives you a lot of other, opportunities. I've taught in 3 army colleges, done a study program in the US, and so it has been quite a journey and quite a growth. But out of that, what would stand out in my own mind is the 10 years I spent in Kashmir. Dangerous, perilous, exciting, but a real test of one's own self. So that's broadly been my army journey.
Great. So, sir, before going to anything else, I would like to understand, being an army personnel, what is your daily routine? What is your daily life?
Okay, so I do a lot of wrong things, but I'll tell you what is the right thing I do. I am organized, right? I'm a person of habits, as many people in the army are, and this is important to state because when we talk about stress as we go along, this will stand out as an important toolkit, an important framework. So I have a very organized life. I get up at the same time every day at 6 o'clock. The first thing I do is I do a few mental exercises, like Wordle, which is a word game on New York Times. I do that. I learn a little Spanish, which I've never spoken to anyone because I don't have any friends in Spain. But I'm doing it to keep my mind agile and to build, more neural networks in the head, which makes sure that your mind is active and you will start moving towards dementia or Alzheimer's someday. I do that. And I do a fair amount of this kind of activity in the morning. It's a sort of meditation for me. Other than that, I write a diary. I've written it every single day for decades now. I can tell you precisely when you and I met.
Right.
18th of December. In India School, where you spoke. So, this business of being driven by habits, organize your whole day along to-do lists. Let's say if I was to speak to you, at 3 o'clock I was to speak to you in the afternoon, let's say, I'm going to put an alarm for 2:55 and I'll call you exactly at 3. So I use technology and habits to organize my entire day. And how it helps, we'll probably come to that a little later.
Lovely. So you have seen that daily routine life is very important, and let's see how it is helping him. And as he said, that to be very honest. As he said that 18th of December we had met, I seriously did not remember the date, but he remembers that we met at Sinjay School on 18th of December. Great. So you have seen many wars. As you said that you were the part of anti-terrorism, battalion. So how do you see the stress at that particular point in time? Lots of terrorists. You have to counter, and you have to see the normal people also there, civilians. So doesn't it impact your natural life?
Right. So, a lot of stress is caused in our minds by imagining what has not yet happened. Fearing is the key to what causes stress. And unfortunately, the more imaginative you are, the more you're going to suffer from this, because it's not the emotion that defeats us or kills us, it's the story we attach to the emotion of what might happen tomorrow or the day after. So when you go into anti-terrorist operation, for example, obviously you are fearful. I haven't met any army guy who's not scared. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this thought that why you guys not scared is complete bullshit. In fact, Manu Shaw made a joke of this. He said, if anyone says he's not scared, he's either lying or he's a Gurkha. And that he said it because he was from Gurkhas, so he was praising Gurkhas. But the fact is, even Gurkhas are scared. Everybody's scared. You overcome the stress and you overcome fear with a variety of things. The first lesson I want to give to people who are listening is, it is all right to be scared. Fear is not a bad thing. When you begin to accept it, like a student who accepts that exam आ रहे हैं और बहुत स्ट्रेस होगा और बहुत मुझे पढ़ना पड़ेगा, बहुत सारी मेरी खेलना मिलना बंद हो जाएगा और बड़ी तकलीफ होगी, a student who accepts it in his mind will do fine because he is in touch with reality. The problem is, most of us say, मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? Life मुश्किल क्यों है? Life is meant to be difficult. Life will always be difficult. Life cannot be cured. It can be managed. Okay? So the first thing is accept that there is going to be certain amount of fear, there is going to be certain amount of stress, and it is fine. What you can do is, do not show fear. That's the lesson the Indian Army can tell you. We are taught not to show fear. Now, when you pretend that you are not scared, two things happen. Firstly, your mind starts sending those signals to the body, and you start feeling brave. Okay? There are many cases I can tell you. There was a firefight going on between militants and us. I saw one Jawan, his head was sticking out from behind a rock. I went to him and I pushed his head down and said, "Magna to nahi kya?" He looked at me and said, "Aap to khade ho." You forget your own fear because you are pretending now to be brave. So your body starts listening to you. The second thing that happens is, everybody around you becomes calm. It's like a dad in this crisis. If the dad is throwing things around and saying, "Mar gaye, hum to lut gaye, kharab ho gaye," everybody will go to pieces. You want your support system, your family, your team to remain calm so that they support you. And one way to do it is not to show fear yourself. Okay? So that's one big lesson that comes out from things like anti-terrorist operation. The second is, and I'm going back to the habits. Habits to individuals are what processes are to companies. Okay? The more you have good habits, the more you are sorted in your head about certain things, when the crisis happens, at least the memory, that part of your memory is not struggling to make those decisions. Some things are only taken care of. For example, if you've decided that my company is going to be ethical, इस पे मैं compromise नहीं करूँगी. I will not bribe this guy. We will not do that. या कुछ भी हो जाए. When you are faced with a bad situation, at least that part is taken care. That framework exists. The problem happens with people who have no habits, no processes, and have never thought about how they will react in a bad situation. They go to pieces. मैं इधर जाऊँ कि उधर जाऊँ, मैं हाँ करूँ कि ना करूँ. For example, if you're faced with greed or a situation where you may trip, what is your values? What are your standards? If those are sorted out, so habits, values, processes, when they are clear in your mind, chances are your mind can then combat stress far more easily than others.
Lovely. So one more question here, habits, values, processes when you are talking about, is it before joining army also people who are in army have those kind of instinct or those kind of tilt towards these things, or army creates those things in you?
Largely the army creates it.
Okay.
Largely the army creates it. It's the army's culture which changes your mindset. And the good news for people listening to this is that your mindset is in your own hands. You can change it even today. You don't need the army to do it for you. Okay? It's your mindset. The army cuts out all the riffraff and teaches you to do the right thing all the time. You become a person driven so much by habit that some things are just automatic. For example, I'll give you some very frivolous examples, funny examples even. You know, if two army officers are walking, the one walking on the left will be junior. 100% of the time.
Oh.
Whether they're retired, he might be junior only in numbers, but he'll walk on the left. No army guy will ever go and sit in somebody's chair in an office. When you enter somebody's office, irrespective of your rank, you should eat. Because you're paying respect to the office, not to the guy who's junior. When you meet a lady in the army and you're wearing a uniform, you should eat. It doesn't matter whether it's soldier's wife or whoever it is. There are so many things which are just automatically taken care of. I have never seen an army function starting later than what was declared. Not even a party. So when you write people at home, let's say you have a senior person coming at 8, when you send cards to others, you send cards starting at 7:40, 7:45, 7:50, 7:55, 8. And that is the sequence in which people will come.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Whenever there is a buffet laid out, I have never seen any gentleman pick up a plate before all ladies have picked up theirs. And ladies will pick it up in the sequence of the seniority of their husbands. Okay? So there is no pitch on chota cheeze. You know, you're sorted on things. Now, obviously, all this is not relevant to people in the civilian street, but you can create your own habits, your own. You can take some decisions. Starting this, ये तो मैं कभी नहीं करूँगा, ये तो मैं रोज करूँगा. चाहे कुछ भी हो, मैं उठूँगा 6 बजे और पहले उठ के मैं पूरे दिन का प्लान करूँगा. Start with that. 5 मिनट का काम है. मैं पहले दिन को पूरा शेड्यूल करूँगा और फिर मैं देखूँगा कि कल क्या शेड्यूल किया था, जो हो गया, जो नहीं हुआ उसको ऐड करूँगा लिस्ट में. Start with that. Okay, you can create your own framework like that.
Right. So when you are sorted with couple of things, जैसे आपने बोला कि उसी टाइम पे आना है या ये काम करना है, ये नहीं करना है, you are sorted with that. So clarity of thought is there and that also helps you in taking care of your stress part. क्योंकि most of the time हमें clarity ही नहीं होती है, क्या करें नहीं करें, उलझन हो रही होती है, इसलिए भी लोगों को stress होता है, right? So that is what is sorted and this is how you...
It is sorted. Let me add one more thing. Many times when you face a problem, and all of us face problems, the main challenge is what decision should I take? That's what is causing us stress. We are indecisive. मैं ये करूँ तो ऐसा होगा, वो करूँ तो ऐसा होगा. There are no perfect decisions.
Right.
Okay, you have to make a sacrifice somewhere in one decision over the other. I can give a couple of silver bullet answers to this question. What decision should you take?
Wow.
Okay? The first is, when you are faced with choices, always take the decision which is in your long-term good. Don't worry about the short term. Okay? You may be displeasing somebody in the short term. You may feel uncomfortable situation of telling your boss I'm resigning or whatever. Look at what is in your long-term good. You will never go wrong. Okay? That is number one. Number two, the reason why we are indecisive is because mentally we are not prepared to live with the outcome of that decision. You know, on a funny note, I'll say, some ladies go and they go to shop, they can't make up their minds on what to, ये खरीदोगे वो खरीदोगे, क्योंकि इनके माइंड में एक पिक्चर चल रही है, ये तो मेरे को पहले भी था, उसने मेरे को पहले देखा हुआ है पहले हुए, ये तो ऐसा था, ये वैसा था. You are not willing to live with the outcome of the decision. Once you have that jazba, you say, यार जो होगा मैं live with it. Then your decision. Your life will become far simpler. You need, because after all, life doesn't end till it ends. Why are you worried about dying every day? Okay? Nothing kills you till you're dead. So take a call. And the third and the final thing is, when you're confronted with too much work, as people are. Ladies particularly are. They're looking after home and this and that and everything. And they also take care of their own selves. When you're confronted with too much work, the silver bullet answer is do the hard thing first. Okay? Do what is going to embarrass you first. And do the easy thing later. अगर आपने किताब लिखनी है तो पहले लिखना शुरू करो. ये नहीं कि पहले मैं 100 पेंसिलें गढ़ूंगा, टेबल साफ करूंगा,
फिर लिखूंगा,
फिर सोचूंगा लिखने की. वो किताब नहीं लिखी जाएगी.
नहीं लिखी जाएगी.
These are my answers.
Great, wonderful. So you need to be very sorted. That is definitely there. And ये मुझे अपने पर्सनल लाइफ से भी लगता है, बिकॉज आई हैव वही 4 कपड़े मेरे पास जो मैं पहन के डेली दिख जाती हूँ, और यू नो आई एम सॉर्टेड. मेरे पास ज़्यादा नहीं देखना है मुझे क्या पहनना है नहीं पहनना. सो दैट्स ऑब्वियसली ट्रू अबाउट women what you are talking about. Then we were talking about families, right? How do you think in these kind of stressful situation, because जब आप वॉर में होते हो या फिर कुछ anti-terrorist, you have something going on every day, as you were in Kashmir, so that every day we used to hear some of the other news, right? How do you see that the families matter, like इनका support कहाँ तक इम्पैक्ट करता है आपकी लाइफ को और उनकी लाइफ को भी. सो कैन यू टेल अस अ बिट ऑफ द फैमिली एंड द आर्मी?
Sure. So you mentioned my book, The Winning Culture: Lessons from the Indian Army to Transform Your Business. I have a full chapter on this called Not by Brotherhood Alone. It's about families. You see, first of all, the army has a culture where the families are very much part of the whole system. This is a trick that the corporate sector has totally missed out. We involve families in everything. We do not socialize man to man, we socialize family to family. We know each other's children, we know each other, that we stay in touch forever. You know, the other day in the book launch, I had officers who came to attend who had served with me probably 30 years ago. Okay? So you stay in touch. Now what happens is, it creates an ecosystem of support. When husbands are away, families support each other. Also, it's like having your entire, extended family living in one colony. They are far bigger family, better family than our actual families. So, the lesson for all of us is value families. Value your real friends. They are a great support system in the time of stress. Okay, that is one thing. The second is, the army takes care of the families. So the converse is also true, and it takes care so much that the families are completely loyal to the army. And if I give you an example, it will probably shake you. I know 30 to 40 examples where a lady has lost her husband in the operations, and from a complete civilian life has fought her way to apply for the army, to go through the training system, become an officer. Which organization will you see where you lose a loved one and you want to support the same organization? Okay, I know a young girl called Ritika Kaul, used to work for TCS, very smart girl, and got married. 10 months later, her husband, Mujid Ondial, died in an operation. She joined the army, and she had no clue about the army. And TCS was sending her to London on posting. She was that good. So when I interviewed her, I said, "Do you love him so much that you want to?" He said, "Sir, of course I love him, but I didn't join army because of him. My husband came from an army family. And my mother-in-law requested me. She said, I've lost my only child. Can you take his place now?" Can you think of such loyalty in any organization? So therefore, people are so closely wedded to each other, so closely attached to each other, that it becomes a support system. And I've experienced this firsthand. You don't know this part of my life. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was struck down by septicemia, a disease that kills most people. One day I was fine, second day I was in ICU, and I remained in ICU for 28 days, on dialysis, life support, and I was gone. And in fact, the doctors repeatedly told my family that, just be prepared for bad news. It was that bad. But I realized how important family is at that point of time, how important the support system is. And not only that, when I came to consciousness, my wife said, about 35, 40 officers and families came to, somebody flew from Hyderabad, somebody flew from Ladakh, somebody flew from, they flew and saw. And I want to remind you that when this happened, I had already been retired for several years. So I wasn't serving. I wasn't going to do anything for them. And it's not because I'm a great guy. Not at all. This is the system. This is how people are attached to each other. And that support system helps you combat stress. There are several officers who serve with me. When they have domestic problems, the wives call me up and say, General Wali, aap thoda kuch karo. Please do something for us. You step in. It's like having another parent. Right? All this helps in combating stress.
Lovely. So family is a big support system.
Oh yes.
And it helps you in taking decisions and going ahead as
Absolutely.
well. Right? Great. Lovely. So another question I have here is, as we are talking a lot about stress, आज के डेट में या पहले भी हम बोलते थे, yoga, pranayam, meditation. So how far army and these things go hand in hand?
Right. So there are many army units where you are encouraged to do yoga, for example. It's not it's not everywhere. It's not universal. So I wouldn't say it's all over the army, but yes, it is encouraged. But in your own personal life, I can say from my own experience that these are great help. Meditation is a great help. Being alone with yourself is a great help. Just sitting silently and connecting with your own self is always a great help. What is also helpful is getting off the social media a little bit. Okay, because that is what is chipping us away. We are, some people ask me, how do you have so much time? You're a management advisor, you're a life coach, you're writing books, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're teaching to an organization. And I tell them, why? They say, how do you find so much time? And I said, okay, here's a test. How much time are you spending on your mobile? And most young people give me a very honest answer. 3 to 4 hours. They're not right. They're spending 5 to 6 hours.
5 to 6 hours.
Okay. You just have to put an app on your mobile to track it, and you will know you're spending 6 hours. If you have 6 hours of your living daylight hours on something out of which no good has ever come and is never going to come, why should you then cry about not having time for yourself, about your growth? You are looking at a gizmo where companies have made sure that you stay attached and nothing is coming out of it, and you are so hooked, addicted. I would go as far as to say that just as the world woke up to the dangers of smoking and alcoholism and drugs, I think we have now woken up, and we should do same steps to de-addict ourselves from this
Social
thing.
media.
You send a message and then you say, I send a message to you, and then it says Priyanka is typing. It is to make sure I don't go away. So I keep looking. Let me read the message.
Right.
So they keep you hooked.
Yeah.
And so the question everyone should ask themselves is, what have I gained out of this? You know what have you gained out of this? Loneliness. Recklessness. You're not talking to people. You're not conversing with people directly. You're sending messages or emojis created by somebody else. Right? And the reason I say it creates loneliness is because this is a desperate plunge to be liked by others. The social media is a desperate attempt कि मेरे को like करो. Please put a like on my picture. हम फोटो बाद में डालते हैं, फिर वेट करते हैं किसने लाइक किया, ठीक है, और कैसा लाइक किया, हार्ट डाला या नॉर्मल लाइक किया. And so it seems to us that the whole world's opinion is more important today rather than my opinion of me. The only like you should want is from yourself. So I think getting off the social media, you can't do this entirely, but getting it off to a degree where you say जितना यूज है उतना ही करेंगे, नहीं तो देखेंगे नहीं इसकी तरफ. नोटिफिकेशन तो बिल्कुल बंद कर देंगे. बार-बार. These are some of the things that are happening with the youngsters today.
Right. So definitely it impacts a lot because you are completely. And what happens is, what you are or you are not. When you are looking at different people, you think like, yeah, I'm missing on this.
Yeah.
I'm missing on this.
Yeah.
So be strong at what you are strong at. Work on that particular, thing, and then probably it will help you out and making you more strong than whatever you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I so agree with you. I would go as far to say, if there's one thing that helped me in my life grow, become the person I am, it is I used to read a lot. I still read a lot. And I've read all my life, even when I didn't know English, I used to read. So I had this knowledge in my head. So here's my advice. Please read 15 minutes a day. A real book.
Real book, right.
Okay, not on the internet.
Right.
read 15 minutes a day, you will probably defeat most of the people in the world because they're not reading at all.
Right. And I do agree with you. The day I don't read, seriously, trust you me, I feel like I am missing on something.
Exactly.
And it seems as if मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं है. I don't know why, but it happens to me. When I'm not reading, it happens to me. And writing, journaling, as you said, that is one of the habits. It also impacts because it is directly wired with your mind. So when you are writing, it is impacting. When you are sending messages, it is not wired that way.
It is not.
So definitely,
it
impacts.
You absolutely. You said such a nice thing. I'll go further to say, same thing happens with a book. When you're looking at a book, you are actually engaging.
Right.
If you're looking at the TV, you don't have to engage. The images can come and go. You can look away. It still makes sense.
Right.
But when you're looking at a book, you're making an active effort to be one with that. And that is what is building your mind.
That's right, exactly. So, couple of habits, what we have to take up from here. Another thing, loneliness we are talking about. So, in army also, when you're on border or you are in war, loneliness is there. People say that in army, people feel lonely or they go under depression. So, how do you see that particular thing and how you deal with that?
This is the big issue. When you're on, say, border, you're on a post, let's say as an officer, a young officer, I spent 3 years in the border. You're in an underground bunker. Okay? The Pakistan is right in front of you, and 100 meters, 150 meters, 200 meters. You can't really freely move around on the hill. So you're underground, but you come out, of course you walk around. But you are the only officer on the post. The next officer is about 2 to 3 hours away or walk. So the only person you are communicating with is yourself. Right? So there can be, and so same as with the men. Now to overcome this loneliness, first of all, the army has a very strong system of taking care of each other. You need to, like I keep saying, the army is like a family. When you don't have anybody to talk to or anybody to open up with, then loneliness can really hit you. But in the army, that doesn't really happen. I mean, there is loneliness, there is depression, but people take care of each other. They talk to each other. They notice if there's a change. If there's a Jawan who's come from home and he's suddenly gone silent, people try to notice it. Let's talk to him. Let's speak to him. The officers are supposed to know all the problems of the troops they command. Down to कहाँ से आता है, घर में क्या दिक्कत है, what does he talk about, all of that. So that helps. Otherwise, loneliness is very much part of life. I would say to people who feel lonely is, you're not alone. Please open up to somebody. The tragedy is the people who need this support the most are least capable of reaching out to other people. They are quiet. They don't reach out. Okay? You are not alone. Your problems are not unique. There are terrible problems in this world. You're not the only one. Your problems are not unique. And life is meant to be difficult. Okay? Reach out to someone. Talk to somebody. You will find wisdom in uncommon places. And if you want to talk to a life coach, talk to a life coach. But even otherwise, talk to your friends and open up. The journal which you brought out. Right. Talk to yourself. But please get this idea out of your mind that you are the only person having the problem. And I will give you another one-line mantra. Fears are your worst liars. Look back at your life. How many things have you feared and how many came true? You start from school days. मेरी सहेलियाँ मुझे पसंद नहीं करती, तो मेरे बगैर चली गई. Nobody likes me. We agonize all our lives. But when the issue is over, we don't look back and say, यार फालतू में मैंने चिंता की. I was overthinking. Your fears rarely come true. Rarely. You are imagining them because you are imaginative. Okay. Something else might happen. Life may slap you like I had septicemia out of nowhere. But your fears are going to be mostly liars. Believe me, this is the soldier's word. So take it and say, ठीक है, मेरे दिमाग में बातें आ रही हैं, ऐसा हो गया.
So this is how fear he spoke about, and like Sam Bahadur is a movie, and yesterday night only, my husband was seeing that, so I also sat and I was seeing, and the same line what you said, I saw him telling कि अगर वो नहीं डर रहा है तो गोरखा है या
ये झूठा है
झूठा है. So that's right, and definitely yes, वो fear दिमाग में है और आप उसके हिसाब से act करते हो, and it impacts your entire life. You are not able to take the right step, not able to do anything good, and then you are impacting your own health as well as your own mind, right?
Yes.
So now, another thing I would like to answer, not like to understand from you is when yoga and all, I spoke to you. So one thing which for the new generation from army, which you would suggest that it has to be there 100% in everybody's life, and what is that?
There is a great book called The Road Less Traveled, written by Scott and Peck. I will repeat it, and it's very easily found. You'll find people selling books on the footpath.
Right.
You'll find it there also.
Yes.
The Road Less Traveled by Scott and Peck. It's an easy to read book. It's a book about discipline and love and spirituality. That book makes a very bold claim on the first page itself. It says, discipline is the cure of all life problems. You've got to be disciplined. That will sort out a lot of your problems. What is discipline? It's not marching up and down and saluting. Discipline is your willingness to delay fun and do the hard thing first. That is what discipline is, right? So just follow that rule. Think of a child who does the homework first and then goes out to play, or somebody who does the what is essential first and then goes into looking at Instagram or whatever you want to waste your time on. Do the hard thing first and delay fun, delay gratification. That is discipline. That is going to sort out all the problems. So people when they look at the army, they say, you guys are so disciplined. That's what discipline is. Do the hard thing first. Just take away that lesson. And it will cure many problems. It will cure a lot of stress. Because there will be nothing pending which is going to hit you. You would have done that first.
Procrastination is not there.
No, procrastination is not there. I mean, there's a great book called, I think, Eat That Frog. It says that, let's say if you had to eat a frog, somebody said, "Tumhe frog khana hai." It's a terrible thing to do. When should you do it? First thing in the morning. So, baki din to theek nahi rahega.
Right.
So, be disciplined.
Right, great. So thanks a lot, Major General Neeraj Bali, for giving us time and taking out time and talking to us. And I'm sure this is going to help us a lot in understanding how we can manage our life, and we just by being disciplined, lot of stress can be removed. Once you are disciplined, life is much more easier. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Priyanka.
Thank you. Sir. Thank you.